facts surfaced about how the organized gangs could attack California stores in waves.
Peng Shuai, a female world-class tennis player who revealed how a top CCP official mistreated her in extramarital relationship and has since disappeared, now stands in the way to a successful Beijing Winter Olympics. Welcome to Wei and Kathy Show. I'm your host, Wei Fang.
I'm Kathy Zhang.
Wow, tonight is what? Thanksgiving Eve, right?
Yeah, Thanksgiving Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, just wish you a very happy Turkey Day.
Yeah, I just wish you have a great holiday and have a good gathering with your family. And this is indeed one of the special time that not only we have celebration, also because of the name of the holiday, Thanksgiving, right? Who should we be thankful to? And if you have your thoughts, just type it there. Who are the most people that you want to be thankful for? And actually today I did 2 programs with my Chinese audience on a topic. So basically, my point of view is this. Okay, we have Thanksgiving. It's turkey, it's stuffing, it's pumpkin, it's just good food, right? Then when it comes to Christmas, it's buying the gift, it's having good times, shopping, things like that. Understandable. But if we recall the story where Thanksgiving come about, and it was the how the Christmas come about, right? Those are very, very profound issues in matters in the history. And at that time, this is we're talking about in November of 1623, right? When the first the pilgrims arriving in the Plymouth and surviving 2 winters. Okay, what do they celebrate is they are able to survive. They can live on, right? Mm-hmm. And what sustained them at that time is really their firm belief. Okay, they find the new freedom, free land for their belief, for their religion over there. And so today, I'm just talking to myself, facing all the difficulty or the not so good situation today, but compared to the pilgrims, how are we doing? We're doing very well. So we really need to treasure what we have and learn from how they deal with, how they handle the difficulty and the challenge in front of them. And then we need to do the same thing. That's my little, ahead of the program sharing.
Yeah, I think still, for myself, I'm still very thankful that we are in this free country, and we have the opportunity to talk to you, our fellow Americans in this program. So I'm we are very, very thankful to all of you.
Yeah. Well,
thankful to this country, the opportunity it provides to us all, and have the opportunity for us to have the opportunity to try to preserve it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kathy said what I want to say. My second, thanks goes to you. Because of you, we have this show. Otherwise, Kathy and I won't be here. So thank you for many of you stay with us for literally 1 year, right? So we started this in last, I think, late November.
Right.
It's just exactly, 12 months. So we persisted, and you persisted. Thank you very much. We're very, very thankful. And I think now is the time to reflect upon it and also carry on. All right, let's look at today's news. So the first has to do with, we reported to you about the crime spree suddenly popping up in the Northern California and the Southern California, and so many group robberies. So there's this term called the flash mobs, right?
Right.
That was like for entertaining, spontaneous.
Or they say like a smash and grab.
No, what I mean is the flash mobs was supposed to be a good term.
Okay, yeah, the entertainment group of singing.
Yeah.
And the dancing.
And this wave of organized crime, really, they just like a flash mob and steal and run away, right? So the inventor of the term flash mobs, he was very upset. He said should be called the flash robs. He wanted to reserve the flash mob to himself, to that kind of spontaneous on the street entertainment activities. But anyway, so this is what we face. But we got some progress here. Okay, we have some know-how about how it came about.
Yeah, and so the experts and the authorities now found that those robbers are believed to be part of the sophisticated criminal networks that recruit mainly young people to steal merchandise in stores throughout the country and then sell it in online marketplace. The thefts are, or actually, I don't think theft is a correct term. It's actually the robberies are ratcheting up as the holiday shopping season gets underway. So the president of a coalition of law enforcement and retail, Ben Duncan, said they are not talking. They believe it's not about someone who needs money or needs food. These are the people who go out and do this for high profit and for the thrill. And according to Duncan, those flash robs are usually organized by local people who recruit their crews and send them to steal specific merchandise requested by the criminal organizations throughout the country. And those who do the stealing usually get paid between $500 and $1,000 to take as much as they can and bring it back to an organizer who ship it to other parts of the country. So Duncan said crew bosses organize them. They'll give them the crowbars and in some cases even rent them the cars or provide them with escape routes or a list of products to actually go out and steal. It looks very chaotic, but it's actually very well organized. And he said it was meant to look like looting, but it really wasn't. It's a criminal entity employing other people to steal for them so that they can profit by selling it online. So it's estimated that the retailers lose about $65 billion each year to the organized retail crime, and the bulks was stolen by professional robbers. And Duncan said criminal flash robs are part of a growing national trend. So actually, I looked into some surveys by the National Retail Federation. In last year's survey, they had organized a retail crime survey. And it shows that organized retail crime now costs retailers an average of $700,000 per $1 billion in sales. And 3/4 of the retailers said that an increase of organized retail crime in 2020. And this year's survey, 2021 now, it shows that the societal changes and the shift to digital from the pandemic have led to an increase in the problem. And more than 2/3 of the retailers said that the pandemic increased the overall risk of their organization, and 57% indicated a rise in organized retail crime. So if we look at this year's survey, about 69%, almost 70% of the retailers said that they had seen an increase in organized retail crime activity over the past year. They cited the reasons such as the COVID-19, the policing, change to sentencing guidelines, we know what that means, and the growth of online marketplace for the increase in the organized retail crime activities. And one of the most alarming thing is that the retailers report these gangs are more aggressive and violent than in years past. Some 65% of the respondents from the retailers noted that the increase in violence, while 37% said organized retail crime gangs were much more aggressive than in the past. And for comparison, in 2019, only 57% said organized retail crime gangs were more aggressive, with 31% said they were much more aggressive. And in terms of what are the cities suffered most from the organized retail crime, take a look. In 2020, the top 10, we can see that the top one is Los Angeles, right? And San Francisco is top name is at the top 5, and in California, another city is Sacramento is at 10. But look at this year, 2021, the first, and Los Angeles keep the top 1, and then San Francisco rise to the top 2, okay, and the Sacramento also become the number 8. So California's situation definitely is worsening, and as the retailers noted, what are the reasons, right? One of them is the policing policy, and a lot of people noted that we've talked about that, the Proposition 47, and actually other laws passed by the California legislatures, and sometimes passed by the voters, is to really softening on the criminalization of softening on the law enforcement of the criminal activities. So yeah, that's and also let's take a look at what are the top items that those organized crime, retail crime bosses want them to rob. Okay, you can see that the designer clothes on the top, designer bags, things like that, detergent actually. And we noticed in California, where we live, sometimes you see in some kind of in those grocery store or the pharmacy store, some detergents or some, it will be locked.
Why detergent? It's a good price?
That I don't know. So yeah,
it must be not coincidental. Those guys, they are organized crime. They know what to grab. They gotta have a reason there. Although we don't have that, we don't know that yet. But okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Like one thing I noted, sometimes because I interview people and they said, those people, because of the pandemic, because of the wealth, rich and poor gap is deeper. Those people they don't have food, or they just need food and money, or money, right? Like the president of this organization said, it sounds like, if those people just rob because of such reason, it seems to be maybe more justified. I think that's, to me, it's kind of mind-boggling. No matter, I think there are always have people are poor, right, in the society, but it doesn't mean that you can just steal or rob, and then it can be justified.
Actually, if you can get away with the robbing, stealing things, then small crime will become bigger crime. So remember that in New York City, how Giuliani was able to fix the crime issue in New York City. He went for the small crime, stop all the small crime. Then you don't have bigger crime, because there's nothing to grow from. Anyway, so that's the news for that, and but this the good part. So we got some more information about who they are and where they come from, and what's the nature of it.
Yeah, I think it definitely helped those lawmakers to think about the policies. I saw in San Francisco they are talking about how they want to prosecute. Actually, at least 4 of those suspects were charged.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, who robbed the Louis Vuitton in Union Square.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated. And so next thing, let's move to another major topic of today. The main topic of today is about a female top tennis player. Her name is Peng Shuai. For those of you who have heard the story, can you just type it there so that we know that whether you heard about the story? This is a female tennis player. He's the MeToo story here.
Yeah, she actually is a 3-time Olympic medalist. But now she seems to be, her case is standing in the way of the Beijing Winter Olympics.
Yeah, let me be more specific. Okay, this lady, her name is Peng Shuai. Okay, actually, in terms of women, in the women's tennis, she's number 14. Okay, but that's not just it. For the women's double, he's the world champion. He won the Wimbledon in 2013, and he won the Doha women's double in 2014, and also on the same year, she won the French Open. Okay, women's double. Okay, the other woman is the Taiwanese player. So she's one of the top women players, in the world, a tennis women player. So what happened? Okay, what happened? On the November 2nd, which is about 22 days ago. Okay, on November 2nd, and the Peng Shuai published, just wrote a personal statement on the social media in China. All right, it's called a Weibo. It's like our Facebook over here. Okay, and she charged that the former member of the CCP, Chinese Communist Party's Politburo. Folks, Politburo is the top ruling governing body of the party. But if it is the top governing body of the party, that's the top governing body of the nation. All right, because the party is everything. And then this member, his name is called Zhang Gaoli. Okay, and this Zhang Gaoli is also the vice prime minister. Okay, or premier of China. Okay, so in that letter, in that statement, she charged that Zhang Gaoli maintained more than 10 years of this extramarital relationship with her, including forced sexual relationship and sexual harassment, things and charges like that. And while the Zhang Gaoli commit those crimes against her, the Zhang Gaoli's wife was just accomplice, yeah. And she was guarding the door, and while this old guy, this guy is this Zhang Gaoli, how old is he? He's
75.
Like 75-year-old, and this lady is the 35, right? I think so, 35, and so the husband and wife is just forcing this little girl, 35-year-old, and 10 years ago she's only in her early 20s, okay, to have this this virtually in Chinese we call it incest type of relationship. All right, so she published that. The post stayed on the internet for 20 minutes, then it's gone. Okay, since then, her entire account was deleted, and her existence on social media was deleted. Okay, and then during that 20 minutes, a lot of other websites pick up the story, and those are completely cleansed. Okay, in China they're able to do that. Okay, the party issue one order, the internet listen to the party. So all the posting related are just deleted. Even South Korea has like a TV series. It's called The Prime Minister and Me, Prime Minister and Me, which has nothing to do with this case. And then that drama got deleted. You cannot play anymore. You cannot cannot publish that anymore. And because the government is afraid of people gonna relate to that and allude to this this infamous charge. Now what happened next is this. Peng Shuai, this lady is gone. She's gone from the public scene. Nobody see it. Nobody see her. And then, so time goes by for 2 weeks. She's not visible anywhere. Does not exist on the internet, on the social media, and physically she's not visible anywhere. So then, at that time, so many organizations, the international, the international World Women Tennis Association, and the International Men Tennis Association, and the United Nations and the International Tennis Association, and so on and so forth. So many organizations, especially on the sports side, just asking, where is this lady? And every time they ask, there's no answer. All right. So just a few days ago, okay, on the 17th, they arranged for there's this so-called video conference between Peng Shuai and Mr. Thomas Bach. Thomas Bach is the president of the International Olympic Committee. They have this meeting, okay, just across the internet, and then in which this Peng Shuai said, I'm doing very fine. Please leave me alone. This is my privacy, and so on and so forth. And sitting by her is basically the party officials over there. So after this, this talk happened, and Thomas Bach was very harshly criticized by so many people on the internet, saying that he is carrying the water for the CCP. Okay, and this poor girl, and now she's in the hands of the CCP, and this International Olympic Committee, they very, very seldomly, if ever, openly criticize the human rights situation in China. Backtrack to 2008 when the Beijing Olympics was held there, and then so they never say anything, okay, anything positive, and then suddenly they appear saying that essentially collaborate with the CCP to prove that Peng Shuai has no problem. All right, so that's the basic story, okay? After that, let me share with you the insight, okay? So just our observation. Just remember, guys, we are from China. We understand how the situation there. We know that how Chinese government officials, how they behave, right? So it's work like this, okay? Top CCP officials abuse women and have extramarital relationship with them, sexually harass them. It's in Chinese we call it 家常便饭. It's so commonplace. It's a very common scenario. It's no surprise to any Chinese people at all. Just remember, we got this the first Chinese communist leader. His name called Mao Zedong, right? Mr. Mao, Chairman Mao, and then Chairman Mao, after he passed away, his personal doctor went to the U.S., wrote a memorial about how Chairman Mao treat the ladies around her. So the relationship is so messy and so dirty. It's not a MeToo thing, okay? It's us too, okay? And this Chairman Mao just have this relationship with so many girls and without regarding any consequence whatsoever. Nobody knows, okay? And then this is a common phenomenon with other top Chinese leaders. They really got the freedom to reach to any female, any ladies. Okay, now this is the issue. Why this thing happened and become a big deal? Okay, normally when such thing happen in China, okay, you don't heard about that. You never heard about that, including like a Chairman Mao. After the private doctor, his personal doctor was just died in a very mysterious way after he published the book. Okay, so anyway, so in China, first is so normal, and actually way more severe. But you never heard about that because of two reasons. First, the lady or the girl never dare to come forth, because for them to come forth, it means life and death. The second, if they speak out, they got no channel. Okay, they won't get heard because not a single media would dare to report something like this. So in this situation, developing such a fast and uncontrollable way is because first, Ms. Peng Shuai just published on social media just like that. So on the social media where, tens of millions of people, hundreds of millions of people on that social media, it's called Weibo, and that people copy the post and spread it very fast. So it happened without precaution for the party. The first reason. The second, this lady is virtually the champion of the women's double in the women's tennis. So he's famous, he's credible. Many international association, at least her, tennis colleagues know her so well. So it becomes something that, international, the focus was zooming in just right away because people know her. Okay, and also because of the Winter Olympics was starting in the late, I think, January, right?
February.
In the February, Winter Olympics. Right before the Winter Olympics, you got a top tennis player, women player, facing this MeToo thing, and instead of the society, the whole China just try to just right the wrong she received, she disappeared. Okay, to the international world, they just cannot deal with it, and they cannot accept it, right? Because at that time they apply the standard in U.S. to China, and the party would never got used to that. They panicked. They don't know what to do. Okay, because it's really just capital offense when you charge a vice prime minister with such a thing. Normally, she got to wipe it out right away, but because she's famous, it's a sudden exposure, so they couldn't do it.
So that's why in the past few days they starting to kind of release a little bit of information about her, and then of course the outside people just don't believe. And then they release a little bit more information. But right now, so there's also a focus on whether the United States will boycott the Winter Olympics. So President Biden said he is considering a diplomatic boycott of the Winter Olympics in Beijing. So the New York Post, actually a few days ago, published an editorial saying 6 massive reasons why Biden should boycott Beijing Olympics. And among the 6 of them, actually 2 of them related to this case. And why is that? So first of all, the case of Peng Shuai, right? So the regime has disappeared this 3-time Olympian of its own, Peng Shuai, after she accused this former vice premier of sexual assault. So that's what New York Post says the first reason, and one of the reasons. And another reason, it states that because CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, harvests the organ of prisoners of conscience, a nearly 2 decades long practice, and mainly they harvest organ from Falun Gong practitioners, which is a mind-body spiritual practice from ancient Chinese culture, and also from the Uyghurs. And the Beijing insists all organs are from voluntary donors after death, but the number just doesn't add up. So. Actually, in this regard, a human rights group exposed back in 2015 that this vice premier, Zhang Gaoli, was actually deeply involved in the situation of, where how the millions of Falun Gong practitioners are persecuted, and many of them all got their organs harvested. So that's really a serious evil, really evil crime. So what happened? I wanted to give you some information on there. Not a lot of media has such reported as such. So that was happened. Actually, Peng Shuai, right, the tennis player, went on her post and saying that Zhang Gaoli always afraid of Peng Shuai will bring a recorder, saying, he's afraid of leaving any evidence or something to, as some kind of a proof. So Peng Shuai said, oh yes, I have no evidence other than myself. There's no recording, no video, only her, only myself, it's real experience. But actually, the organization, the human rights organization, was actually able to obtain a record of Zhang Gaoli, of his involvement of the human rights abuse against the Falun Gong practitioners. So that happened on June 24, 2015. An investigator with the World Organization to investigate the persecution of Falun Gong, by assuming the identity of a secretary of the then CCP General Secretary Jiang Zemin's office. And he conducted a phone call and was able to talk to, at that time, Mr. CCP's State Council Vice Premier Zhang Gaoli. And at that time, he was visiting in Kazakhstan. And let's just watch a part of the investigation audio.
调查对象中共中央政治局常委张高丽，调查时间2015年6月24日。
这样的，我是江泽民同志办公室的刘秘书啊。这个。刘秘书你好。哎，你好。江泽民同志呢有几句话让我转告你，说最近啊有上万名法轮功习练者向最高检察院说最近有上万名法轮功习练者向最高检察院控告江泽民同志，说追究江泽民同志下令 责取了几百万法轮功学员器官的责任，说江泽民同志很担忧这个事啊，他希望您呢在政治局讨论的时候一定要阻止追究这件事儿啊，您能做到吗？啊，你要知道这个追究几百万这个活在法轮功学员器官这件事责任很大很重，您知道吗？您讲的。
我现在上课吃饭。
啊，对。
当下回去。
对，我就说你回去了以后，这个事回去了以后，这个事你得要。好。还有一个，我想问一下啊，你说。还有就是现在。好，行，那你一定要得阻止这件事情啊！你要知道，这个追究江泽民下令采取几百万法轮功学员器官的这个事情，责任很重很严重啊！好，那行。
Okay, so that's a major part of that investigative report by this organization called the World Organization to Investigate the Persecution of Falun Gong. So as you can, I hope everyone can see the subtitles where when the investigator asked about the General Secretary, is worried about this lawsuit against him, accusing him of ordering the harvest of Falun Gong practitioners' organs in the millions of them. And he didn't deny, right? Zhang Gaoli, as a Politburo standing committee member and the vice prime minister, he didn't deny and didn't show any surprise and didn't ask any questions, and just keep saying okay, sure, and even asked to pass on the word to Jiang Zemin that be relaxed, don't worry. So the organization they believe that it's a proof that Zhang Gaoli was deeply involved in the persecution of Falun Gong practitioners with the organ harvesting. And also the rest part of the audio I didn't put it on is that the investigator even said, another word is for the rest of the Falun Gong practitioners, you have to handle them well, in terms of the organ harvesting. And he said, oh yes. So so that's exposed actually back in 2015.
Yeah.
All right. So and it just continue with New York Post's editorial. The other 4 reasons they believe the United States government should, but the Biden administration should boycott the Beijing Olympics. And other reason is like how they the Chinese Communist Party try to make the game as a propaganda triumph to put Leni Riefenstahl, the Olympia, to shame. And New York Post said it's in reality it deserves the world's scorn far beyond simply not sending an official U.S. government delegation. So as a lot of people know, Leni Riefenstahl was a German film director, photographer, and actress known for her seminal role in producing Nazi propaganda. And another reason to boycott the Beijing Olympics is New York Post said the CCP has violated every provision in UN Genocide Convention in its horrific abuse of the Uyghurs in Xinjiang. And another reason is the Beijing utterly refused to cooperate in any real investigation into the origin of the pandemic, and that takes more than 5 million lives now. So, and CCP had done everything in its power to muddy the water from the beginning. Another reason, the last reason, is that they cracked down on the freedom in Hong Kong, contrary to Beijing's promise to the accord, handing over the the island city Hong Kong back in 1997. CCP is now arresting anyone and anything that stands in the way, and also it's a war on the churches, on the Christians. And they want no other gods before CCP's highest leader.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So at the end of this show, what I want to just share with you is, back in, 1620, right? 1620, the origin of the Thanksgiving Day. Okay, at that time, the pilgrim was running away from the religious persecution in Europe, and then came to the land of America. Okay, and then they went through the first 2 winters, almost died. Half of them passed away, and the rest managed to survive to have this the Thanksgiving feast, right? So, compared to them, what do we face? Is much smaller challenge. Okay, smaller difficulty. We still we got a good living. We don't worry about whether we can survive this coming winter, right? But indeed, we are losing our value. Okay, our country is very much polarized, and then there's the fighting from both sides, and young people are losing our value, and that's what threatening the future of this country, and so this is where we are, right? So at this time, I want to say that besides having a good time, having good food, have a good gathering of our family, we also think about that, how we got this holiday today, right? Nearly 400 years ago. Our forefathers have this celebration for surviving the winter, and they overcome so many difficulties, okay? And now we have our own difficulty to overcome, and I say we should just as courageous as they are. That's what I want to say as the last. I don't have anything else. Kathy, anything? Today's a Thanksgiving Eve, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any feeling? Yeah, please type it up there at this very moment. What do you think? And who are you thankful for? And what kind of message you want to pass on to other viewers?
So 92 Stones said congratulations on the year. You are awesome. Thank you very much.
We couldn't believe it. We just, this is 2 Chinese American journalists who did only Chinese reporting, and now we've been, doing English. It's challenging for us. It's sometimes stressful, but we carry on for 1 year, and thank you for being there.
Yeah, and Lloydell said, I'm proud to get to know you folks. I've learned to appreciate your view on politics and life. Keep it up.
All right, thank you
so much. Yeah, we learned a lot from you guys too, from your commenting and your suggestions. We also receive emails, so really, really appreciate that. It makes us feel like, we're very humbled and very encouraged to keep going.
Yeah, and also actually, Kathy has been leading an effort producing instant news, right? Has been for a while. So we will be producing another news channel, and we are developing another news website, and we'll be sharing with you in the near future. And how about that?
Okay, yeah.
All right. So this is only the starting place, folks, and let's just let's do it together. How about that? Our dream is to recover the honor of the media, which is the fourth estate.
Journalism.
Journalism.
Yes.
Regain the power of the fourth estate of media, honorable media, new mainstream media in the future. All right, thank you very much for staying with us, and hope you have a very happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I really wish you a very, very good, nice, happy Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, and we wish we'll stay together for long years to come.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Good night.